Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wood. I hope y'all having a good morning. It's going to be a throbbing, hard show today, and that's about all the dick jokes I got. Usually I have a whole list, but not today. A couple of little announcements before we get started. Uh, Thursday, there will not be a show because I have a doctor's appointment. So I thought it was going to be tomorrow, but it's not tomorrow. We will be here tomorrow. I think Vadim's still coming on. I told him he wasn't going to have to come on Wednesday because I thought it was the appointment. So I have to let him know that I was wrong. So, anyways, tomorrow's show we will have one. No one Thursday. Friday we'll do the Fan Friday thing as always. And that's pretty much it. Unless, oh yeah, one more thing. If you've got questions, please ask them at the end of the show. We're going to end a little early today again. Also, sorry about that. We're going to end about 30 minutes earlier than we normally do. So, yeah, save your questions at the end of the show. And also, you can tip at the end of the show. We are joined today by the one and only Mundane Matt. How you doing, buddy?
I am awake. It is
You're
early
awake.
on the West Coast.
It is early. It's what, like
It's
8,
8
right?
a.m.
Well, it's
I'm
1
not.
a.m. where Red Eye's at. So,
Oh, well. See, no, that'd be better for me. I'm a night owl as it is. So it's like the nighttime stuff would be great. Like I need to just move to Australia so I could do all the fucking nighttime shit what I'm used to, and then it'd be early here, so I get the early crowd. See, that's smart.
yeah.
That's how you play that.
That's how
Get
you
that
play
out.
it. Why is it only okay? This is weird. Anyways, my viewer thing is not adding up to both sides, but that's okay. Yeah, so it is early there. It's just now 10:03 here. There's a lot going on the internet lately.
It feels like it.
Uh,
It feels like
yeah.
every day there's like a massive thing happening.
Yeah, somebody's getting accused of something bad every day. That's what it seems like anyway. As you know, we all know about the recent big tobacco, whatever you want to call it, with what's his name, Gunn,
James Gunn, yeah.
James Gunn. Yeah, lost his job because of some tweets he made 10 years ago.
I mean, like it's not just some tweets. There's context to there and just in regards to everything. So you have like a handful of tweets, which I think I can see there's been around maybe, 13 to 15 tweets specifically that
Mm,
people have pointed to. And then there's like his blog where he had posted some salacious stuff as well, and trying to be provocative and whatever.
yes.
And then people they jump on that and they're just all like, what I love about this whole situation is
Mhm,
even though the comedy is not, in my opinion, funny,
mhm.
the moral authority of the right rears its ugly head once again. I'm like, are we back in 1977? Are these fuckers protesting a Kiss concert? Are they going to sit there and claim that if we play a Beyonce album backwards, we're going to actually find out the true key to Pizzagate? Like, is this where we are right now? Where they're just everything is that they find morally repugnant is now off limits.
But it isn't just the right. Though. Both sides do that.
When it comes to the comedy, though, it's more the right than like the left is policing speech, the right's trying to police the content, and neither side is correct, by the way.
Exactly. I agree.
And that's the thing. That's kind of where this is. I think this is ultimately a bipartisan issue. But what we're seeing here in the case of James Gunn is he had this comments that he had put out there. He atoned for the blog post. I would say general internet shitty behavior overall in like 2012. So like right after he got hired from Disney, like they vetted him. Like Disney's not going to fuck around. They're going to vet you.
Yeah.
And so he did this kind of apology. I don't want to say an apology tour thing, but he gave this apology interview. And then in May of last year, he ended up talking more about Twitter and how bad of a person he was and how he was just trying to be provocative and edgy. And the thing is, if you really go and look at all of these screen caps that are coming out right now, right? All these celebrities making these really, really, really horrible jokes. Look at the dates. The vast majority of them is around 2008 to 2012.
Yep.
And so it's like you can kind of start to see a pattern there. Like, okay, what was happening? What was a cultural zeitgeist like in 2008 to 2012? Why were they doing this in this time period? It wasn't like it was some some out of the blue thing, right? Well, when I used to live in LA, which is from 2010 to 2012, that was a big thing. There was like everyone wanted to go viral. Everyone wanted to be this type of edgy hit, and that's a lot of where things were. People were trying to be ridiculous. They're trying to say some really out there shit as a way of getting someone's attention. And it not saying it's funny, not saying it was good, but that was the intent at the time. It was like, how can you be edgy on Twitter in 140 characters?
Yeah.
And one of the things even that we learned yesterday watching Philip DeFranco show is that in some of the cases against Patton Oswalt, because you couldn't thread tweets, you had to just post individually. What they were a couple of the ones they tried using against Patton Oswalt were actually parts of a larger statement. And so it's out of context stuff. So that's why context always matters. Yes. It always matters. And that's what I've been arguing about for the last couple of days. And it's been very interesting to watch people who want to forego all context and simply focus on their initial emotional response to the situation. And as a result of me arguing for context and talking about context, oh boy, I have been labeled a pedophile up and down the fucking internet. Some lady yesterday messaged me and she was like, "You don't deserve to have your daughter." Oh. And I'm like, really? Because I'm like, let's look at this objectively. And while I don't support the content, let's at least take a look at this from maybe a non-torch and pitchfork perspective for a hot moment. But yeah, I get getting a whole shitload of that.
I know, it's so stupid, dude. I mean, it's with anything though. Like I've defended people's free speech when it comes to like people using racial remarks, and automatically I'm a racist because I defend that. But it's so stupid how they jump to the gun that you're jump to the gun. That's a good point. Jump to the gun that you are a pedophile.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. Is because if you're not with them, you are against them. If you are not with them, you are the other. And this is why we have the term social justice warrior was predominantly used against the left for quite some time. And as we've seen, it now I think has removed itself from strictly a political side and now it can apply itself to any of these people. If you start running on any kind of moral authority, whether it is policing speech or policing content from whatever type of perspective you're going to use, then I think you lose the upper hand. I think you lose it completely. And then what it boils down to is a whole bunch of goalpost shifting, right? Because we've also gotten to the point now where we can't, and I do this all the time, and I really honestly try to not do it, but it still happens, where we have to lump in other people as examples, as so it's the whole whataboutism, right? And so in regards to James Gunn, people are all like, they come to me and like, oh, how can you defend James Gunn? You were okay with Roseanne being fired. I'm like, well, no, for one, I wasn't. I tweeted about it quite a bit. I even made a video where I said that this was the left lost a teachable moment about this, where I had said, hey, don't fire her. Bring her in, have a conversation, take this real life narrative and put it into the show, and then tell the story and the consequences and the lesson in the show, because this will reach a larger audience and this will be done in a productive manner. But I'm still being accused of saying I'm okay with her being fired, and I'm like, see, the thing is, people they're not wanting to listen to what I say. They're, and it's just a weird world that we live in right now.
Of course they don't want to listen to what you got to say, because if they listen, that means they may have to change their opinion a little bit. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah. I hate changing my opinion, but it's I mean, and sometimes, but I do, and not all the time. Like, I can't sit there and say every single time I've been wrong, I've been like, well, I'm wrong, bucko. I'll fight it tooth and nail sometimes. Ask my girlfriend. We get into big fights over that.
Well, I think it's only human nature to do so, but you still have that little side that's willing to listen and give it a shot. Most people don't. Especially when it comes to shit like this. They deem you as something, that means you are something. I've been deemed as a racist simply because I talk with a fucking Southern accent. And there's nothing you can do to convince some of these fucking idiots. It's stupid.
It would be nice if we would be able to get past that. And I don't know if I don't know if we ever will. I don't know if we ever have been able to be honest with you. I felt like there was a time, especially when it came to comedy, because this really does boil down to like jokes, right? And a couple years ago, there was this guy named Gregory Allen Elliott out of Toronto who was charged with basically like harassing women on Twitter for simply disagreeing with them, right?
Yes.
And there was a whole thing of like, we all rallied together, raised a lot of money for this dude's legal defense. I think the hashtag was like release the jokes or whatever. I don't remember, but it was like the whole idea there was that this is this dude's speech being policed, and he's being, accused of something simply because of some comments on Twitter. And yet here we find ourselves with a lot of the same people, I think, that would have been supporting of Gregory Allen Elliott completely on the other side of this, simply because of the content and maybe who's involved. And I'm like, look, you gotta you gotta stick to your principles. You gotta stick to your guns. If you're gonna go down this pathway of trying to police speech or protect speech, it's either all okay or none of it's okay. I mean, if the Supreme Court of the United States has said that hate speech is not a thing, that it is a protected element under the First Amendment,
yes,
then then other aspects of it have to be acceptable as well. Now, I'm not saying that your personal moral compass has to alter in order for this to be a thing. I'm not saying you have to sit there and like sign on to everything people say at all. No. Never. But if you're going to defend I think it says more about you to defend something you vehemently disagree with than something than you agree with.
Oh, it's easy to defend something that you're okay with. It's real easy. Yeah, I agree. You want to stand up for stuff that you don't agree with. Here's the thing. How are you gonna have discourse if you're trying to shut everybody up?
You really can't. You really can't at all. And that never really matters. So, I mean, like you go on, I was on the Kill stream on Friday talking about this, and man, I'm getting fucking like hammered left and right by people. They're coming in and, but their arguments are generally all the same. It's like, how can you defend this guy? I'm like, well, because the content there doesn't, this is a different situation. Like for one, in regards to connecting James Gunn to, let's say, Roseanne Barr, in that situation too, Gunn had made the comments before working for Disney and then stopped, right? And then she made those comments before working for Disney and then while working for Disney. And I don't believe that her tweet was even that bad. I think that if you look at the general context of what she was trying to talk about, she was trying to talk about like, authoritarianism, right? Like she mentions Muslim Brotherhood plus Planet of the Apes. People focused on the apes comment, and it's all like, well, like I think she was referring to the authoritarian aspect of that one. She later came out and said, I'm sorry I commented on her looks. And then people have put side-by-side pictures of Valerie Jarrett with one of the apes from Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
And they resemble each other.
They do a little bit. And it's like, and then I'm like, okay, so there's that argument. So it's like, I mean, again, but how far down this rabbit hole do you want to go on that argument?
Yeah.
But you look at it too and you go like, okay, see, I'm just looking at it from a straightforward, like authoritarian perspective. Because I do feel that is what she was referring to. I think when she apologized and she said, looks, I think she got bad advice. I really do think Roseanne got bad advice. I think she should have just said, look, this is what I was referring to. Because no one ever said Muslim Brotherhood. No one ever once referenced the Muslim Brotherhood in any of their commentary on that shit. And it's all like, if you don't know who they are, you look that shit up. Yeah. And so I think that's what she was trying to say. But she also at the same time had called like like Roseanne has said some pretty incendiary shit.
She has said some crazy shit.
And not even like 10 years ago. We're talking recently. Like she referred to, I think it was one of the Parkland school survivors as like a Nazi.
Yeah, something like that.
And that was just fucking February. So it's we have to look at like recent the
She did the Hitler cookie thing. Was
that was a long time ago. That was actually, and that was pretty funny.
that was funny. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah, that's actually, and that's been used against me too. Like, this is so funny. People who are mad at me for like defending James Gunn, they'll be like, "Well, you didn't defend Roseanne," and then like people can go and find like a couple videos I've done defending Roseanne, and then like, yeah, but then you defended Roseanne. I'm like, well, what is it? Pick an argument. Like, I did something, I didn't do something. What are we doing here? What's like, where's the fight?
It's just so weird, dude. This culture we live in right now, this time that we live in right now, is the most sensitive I've ever seen it. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I have never seen but lived in a time where it was so fucking sensitive.
Yeah.
Everything you say is under a microscope. And it's
it's true, and it's been that way for a long time. And I mean, like, you and I mean, I'm 36, you're 40, so we both grew up in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And it was like we lived through, like, even our younger selves lived through that original PC push, right? Remember PCU?
Yeah.
Like, that movie was great because it was like really, I mean, if you think about it, PCU, go back and watch that now.
Yeah.
And they could remake that exact same movie today.
Yeah.
And it would still hold up because it'd be like, oh wow, this is still relevant 2 decades later.
And it's just worse, though. It's so much worse.
It feels, yeah. Back then they eventually found a way to come together in the end, which I thought was really great. And I reference that quite often, where like there's that speech at the end where Jeremy Piven's like, look, they want it to be us versus us, when it should be us versus them.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and there's that whole spiel at the end, like, makes a lot of sense, going after the administration. And I don't know if that was done at the time to criticize the first Bush administration or whatnot, but ultimately that's kind of like what that I've argued that quite often. And it's still very true. We need to realize that we're more alike than we're not. And we need to realize that there are people out there who have the authority, who have the power, that punch down. And challenging them should be where it's at, not challenging each other on every little fucking thing, because that just keeps us squabbling over dumb shit.
Yeah, exactly. And this whole cherry picking of what's bad and what's good is ridiculous. Like, it's and correct me if you think I'm wrong, and this is fine. But I think the only person that is okay to make fun of today is the white straight man. Okay to make fun of him, but nobody else.
Yeah. There's that. That's definitely a thing. You see this a lot, and it's I can understand the argument. I understand both arguments, right? I do think, again, comedy boils down to it's either all okay or none of it's okay.
Exactly.
And so I feel like so to give you an idea about this, right? Like when Anita Sarkeesian called me out a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Right. And that was fucking funny, by the way. I was laughing my ass off so hard at that. Like, I looked at my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, you will not believe what just happened, And so, but I made a comment after that. I said, like, my wish for Anita is that she stopped punching down, and because she's in this position of privilege. But like, the problem with it is, this is very much a left issue, is that the people who get to positions of privilege and power on the left, they don't realize, either they don't want to believe that they're there, or they don't acknowledge that they're there, and they keep doing the same thing. But they're now in a position where they've got all that power, all that authority, and they've become what they essentially hate.
Absolutely.
And so they use it as a way to go after people. And I mean, the same thing could be said about politicians on the right. Like, Donald Trump ran on a populist message, basically telling people, like, hey, if you vote for me, one day you'll be like me, which was never going to happen. and now people, I think, in some respects, are kind of waking up to that. We're seeing that now in multiple states that are trying to actually get the government to refund Obamacare as they're coming into these midterm elections, and they're getting a little bit freaked out about that, because that's actually a pretty big hot topic issue that a lot of people on any political side are interested in. So it's all fucking crazy, dude. And then people like you and me, though, like, we're the ones that are meant to kind of like dissect and disseminate the information. But the problem with that, though, is because, and I'm not saying you or me specifically or anyone individually, is that when it comes to this platform, when it comes to the internet, when it comes to being a voice on here, people want confirmation bias, right? They want to hear their opinions validated.
Yes.
And that's one of the biggest problems with doing this sort of thing is, you know, there are people out there, like legitimate YouTubers that you and I both know probably personally, that I've talked to, that are so deathly afraid of their fans.
Oh, yes,
And they are so
absolutely.
afraid of ever speaking out against that general mindset because they're afraid of losing what they've got. And I think that plays quite a bit into where we find ourselves in terms of the people out there that are raging these moral crusades. Is they're afraid of going against what they've built. And even if they know that it's wrong, they're still going to keep doing it.
And people and these fuckers know this, man. They know that people are afraid, so they take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And they really do. Red Eye, you got an opinion? Red Eye, you did?
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm kind of just sitting back listening, and yeah, the moral outrage that's sort of prevalent today is getting a bit frightening because there's trial by media left, right, and center, and just one bad fucking press conference away from a career ending. It's kind of fucked up. It's like kangaroo courts left, right, and center, basically, and it's pretty frightening.
Yeah, and that's, and honestly, you mentioned like people like us, like who do YouTube videos, right? Well, I have seen a drop in content, like good content, because people are afraid. People are afraid to say certain things because they're going to get kicked off YouTube and are, you know, going to lose fans and all kinds of shit. And that is a sad, sad day.
Yeah. Well, Magog's
I've seen that too.
Magog's just announced that he's shifting over to BitChute and doing some BitChute. Is that the place? Is it BitChute?
Yeah, it's BitChute.
Yeah. He's going to do some exclusive content over there. So that's enough for me to go and fucking sign up. And here's the thing, if enough content creators, because I don't watch that many regularly, I've probably got a small handful, and if they all shift over to the same platform, goodbye YouTube. It's like they are dangerously close to blowing off both their fucking feet with a 12-gauge shotgun.
Well, no, I noticed something going on in the chat room. Edge King said Boogie gets it regardless of what he does, and then Matt here responds with saying, yeah, Boogie also apologizes for everything, which he shouldn't do. And that I agree with. Every time Boogie gets in a little bit of hot water, he immediately apologizes.
Yeah. I love Boogie. I love Boogie.
I do too. I love Boogie to death.
Like every day, it's just like unpopular opinion, followed by I'm sorry if this offends you, followed by no, I'm really sorry that I offended you. Hold on, let me go back in this opinion, and then let me go back to streaming video games. Like I get where he's at right now in terms of a mental state. He should get the fuck off Twitter. Like get the fuck off Twitter. If you are, if you're like hitting rock bottom in terms of, because he posted a video about hitting rock bottom. Yeah. You know, if you're hitting rock bottom, it's there's nothing wrong with taking a couple steps back for a while. Like, you know, no one's going to fault you for that shit. But again, this is where we find ourselves in this content creator situation where if you ain't creating, you ain't making, you know what I mean? And it's like, if you're not doing it, you're not doing it. And people will forget you're competing with 450 hours of content uploaded every single minute. So what do you do to stand the fuck out? Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is this is what's burning content creators out more so than YouTube. Like with Magog going to BitChute, I understand that Magog, like he's disillusioned with YouTube, and I completely understand it. But at the same time, diversifying one's content is not a problem, but never leave YouTube, because this is where it's at. It doesn't matter if it's fucked up or whatever. This is still where it's at. This is where 1.5 billion people are right now a month. Unique users. Right. And then over the course of the next 3 years, they're going to open up the internet around the world to another 2 billion people. So you're looking at YouTube getting the possibility of bringing in a whole new mess of audience. Now, granted, those are all going to be people that are not going to be American. They're going to be in another part of the world, but that you never know. I have people from Nigeria that watch my content, you know, so it's like you might find a viewer somewhere. So if you want to diversify, but never forget that this is going to be where your base is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is where we are. It's just the truth of it. I'll be honest. That's the hardcore truth. And a lot of people out there, you know, and I get the small creators that get disillusioned with YouTube, and they're like, you know, like I gotta go to another platform. do it, but don't put all your don't think you're gonna like.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Don't put all your eggs in that basket.
Don't put all your eggs in this basket either.
No.
To be
Yeah,
fair, don't do that either.
It's very good to spread around because, and maybe someday something will happen where another site does get the popularity of YouTube. I don't know if that'll happen, but I mean, you never know.
I think it could happen. Here's the biggest thing though: YouTube will legitimately pay money to keep YouTube losing money. You know, because they want it to be the number 2. Because here's how it boils down to. Is Google is the number 1 most used website, right? Yeah. YouTube is the second most used website. They're part of the same company. Yeah. So they hold the number 1 and number 2 spot. And also Google is the number 1 used search engine, and YouTube is the second most used search engine, by the way. Just keep that in mind if you're a content creator. So it's like there's that. So people are searching, and you know, we have access to the most amount of people. It's just getting in front of them right now. That's the problem. And additionally, a lot of it is too, YouTube's not notifying. So Red Dead said he follows a small group of creators and everything else. And it's entirely possible like that they are in a position where they're not getting as many people watching because YouTube has not been recommending their content enough. And oftentimes it's not even so much that like people look at, I don't know. I mean, do you guys ever just go to your subscription page, or how is it you normally see the content that comes out? Like, do you click the bell? Do you wait for it to be recommended on the side? I mean,
I'm subbed and click the bell, do the double subscription, because it turns out you got to double tap to actually get fucking full notifications and shit. And they always run a fucking hour late. But I've got most of my regular guys I know when they stream, so I just that's the key. You want your people to show up, stream at a regular time. That's just the best way people get into a routine. And
it's post at the same time, and that's my biggest problem right now is because I have the 7-month-old. You know, so she's almost old now, so it's like so she's asleep, so I could do this right now, which is like great. When he's like 8 a.m., like I can do 8 a.m. That's not a problem. She sleeps till around 9:30, 10. You know, I'm good there. You know, so it's like there's that. So yeah, it's having it out. Like for a while, what I was doing is I was doing a nightly show where I would do my videos for the next day. So I would do about a 2-hour nightly show, and I would pre-record the content for the next day live in front of an audience.
Yeah. And
then I would just segment out those videos and I would upload them. And then that would be like the content for the next day. And I ended up like kind of getting off schedule with it. I think like I was, you know, like realizing I'm putting in a lot of work and I'm not getting a lot back or whatever. I was just, you know, and it doesn't really matter, but, oh no, I had the kid too. That also got in the way. So I got to get back into that because I was posting at like 6, 8, and 10 a.m. roughly, and people could get the videos at that time. And I think they knew to go and check. Like I know every day, 2 p.m. for the most part, Philip DeFranco will have a video out. Yeah. And so I'll go check at 2 p.m. And lately his videos have been running like 20 plus minutes. So, and they're not getting out till a little bit later. So when I go to check it 2, I'm not seeing it when I set my, you know, so then I'm like, okay, well, I'll try to check it out later on, but I don't always get to it because other shit comes up. So yeah, really, it does boil down to like consistency and being at the right time so people know when to get there. So you got to build that relationship with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. You have to do. The only thing that bothers me is that, you know, we were talking about all the piece, I guess you got the PC culture or whatever, and things you have to say, and plus the YouTube thing is it all combines together with this, is that I don't like watching what I have to say. I don't like having to censor the things that I say. So, and I have a problem doing that. And so I know I'm going to get kicked off YouTube again. I just know it's going to happen because I feel like that, because if I can censor myself to a point, but if I don't say what that's really on my heart or make the joke that I want to make, then I feel like that I've done, you know, something wrong to myself, for myself. And I don't know if that makes sense, but it does to me.
Well, yeah, it does. You're doing your fans that you do yourself a disservice and your fucking fans. And I am in the same boat. It's like I've got to you know me, Pimp. I've got to really self-moderate 10 times harder than I used to because I'm sitting on someone else's channel now. And if I say the wrong thing, game over. that's not a good look. And I wouldn't be too impressed with myself if I caused someone else to lose their way they earn a living. That'd be pretty shit. So, yeah, I'm frightened of saying certain things now. I just won't flat out say certain things.
And I like cringy humor. I'm sorry, but I do. Look, is it tasteless? Yeah. Sometimes, like the pedophile jokes that Gunn did, and most of them weren't even funny. They weren't even funny. But I like that kind of shit because it isn't supposed to be for everybody. And if you're offended, so fucking what? I mean, it doesn't matter that you're not that important.
Yeah, the key with comedy is you got to tell the right joke at the right place at the right time to the right audience. And Twitter's probably not the best place to try and tell a joke where everyone's going to get it or be funny or make that sort of comment. It's like if you've got a small following and you've got your thing shut down so it's just you and your friends can see it, that's it, you might get away with that sort of shit. But if you're a big guy like that, well, like it was 10 years ago, he probably didn't, he didn't have a crystal ball and said, shit, in 10 years, I'm going to be working at Disney and earning the big bucks. I might not do this. I bet you wish he had a crystal ball or a fucking little fairy on his shoulder saying, hey, you might not want to tweet that.
But, and that's the thing, now people are thinking like that, though, because of what we're seeing is happening. And that's sad.
You know what? I actually went back to my Facebook page today because I read an article. I'll quickly touch on this. And two stupid fuckwits at a university have decided, most of the robots that I've seen are white, therefore it's something to do with racism. And it's like, this makes no sense. So I got onto Google image search and I went, industrial robots, and they come in every fucking size and every color except white because they're big, bright industrial robots. And then I went humanoid robots and I looked, about 10% were white. The rest sort of were cross between Voltron and fucking every other big, massive, mechanized fucking robot from Japan I've ever seen. And this whole thing was like they were basically blaming white people again. It was like they did a simulation where they had a game where there was a white robot and a brown robot, and one they had a gun and the other didn't have a gun, and people were more likely to shoot the brown robot with the gun than the white robot with the gun. Therefore, we're all racist. And it's like, hey, robots are constructs made by people. We can't be racist towards machines. Can we be racist towards a car? The whole thing's just stupid. It's like this, and this is making front page news in Australia. It's like, what the fuck? You know?
You guys also think Hannah Gadsby is funny, so...
Oh, no, we don't.
I'm just going to say,
we don't.
Australia, you're not in the best place right now. No, you all need another fucking who's a good Australian comedian.
None of us understand how that lady is that the chick that gets up there and does the Lord. I don't know anybody that thinks she's funny. I don't know a single fucking living person that thinks she's funny. I don't know a single person that would pay money to see that crazy lady. I definitely would not unless I could throw tomatoes at her.
Like, I understand why people, I think, resonated with what she was saying. Like, she's telling these very, very personal stories. And I get that. People love that kind of, like, they liked being let in that regard. But nothing from what I've seen has been funny. Now, granted, I will fully admit, I've only seen, like, the trailer for the Netflix special. I haven't gone and watched it yet. I feel like I should. Like, I should sit down and give it a watch. But I'm also like, I could also go masturbate. And that could be a better use of my time.
Yeah, I mean,
wait. She got a Netflix special.
Yeah. That Nanette thing ended up getting a Netflix special.
Yeah, she's got a Netflix special. I mean, I'd rather be butt fucked by barbed wire than watch her, because she's not funny. I mean, in my opinion, to me, now to some people, I guess she is because hell, she's funny enough to get a Netflix special. I guess to some people, it's just I don't see the attraction at all.
Can I have 15 seconds? I just want to say something to Netflix. Dear Netflix, what the fuck, guys? Seriously, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Thank you for your attention time, Netflix. Thank you.
It's crazy. But that's the kind of shit. See, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. That's the kind of comedy that we're gonna have to deal with now because everybody is so fucking sensitive. And people and see, here's what scares me. Go ahead.
Oh, no, are they just going to lead off with, let me tell you guys a joke about how I was raped?
Yeah.
It's like, it's funny and it's somewhat culturally relevant.
Yeah.
Like, how is this not like, I mean, That's not how this stuff works.
Yeah, it's
You know, I'm just glad. I'm going to say something pretty horrible, but I'm glad George Carlin and people like, what's his name, Greg Giraldo. Remember that real, like, the king of roasting. The motherfucker was just like, he was brutal. That guy, he was so funny. They couldn't work in today's environment. They could not fucking get a gig.
Isn't he dead?
Yeah, both of them are dead. That's what I'm
Okay.
pointing out
Okay.
there.
yeah.
Giraldo was a classic. He was fucking incredibly gifted. That guy, one of my favorite comedians, and I don't know why I'm remembering him, but imagine Carlin and that trying to do gigs today in this fucking climate with some of their politically incorrect fucking views on the world.
A lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them. Richard Pryor, Lenny
Yeah.
Bruce.
Oh,
I mean, fuck. Lenny Bruce, one of the greatest. Lenny Bruce is the godfather of comedy. Really.
Here's the thing, though. Like, here's the thing when it comes to the whole Dan Harmon situation. I don't know if you guys saw that 5-minute short.
no.
Like, everyone's like, you know, like it's a pretty bad thing where he basically plays this baby raper named Daryl, and it's a parody of Showtime's Dexter.
Oh, okay.
So which was basically like glorifying the murdering of murderers, you know?
Yeah.
And so like the whole point was like that was the whole thing, is it was meant to kind of like parody that and lampoon that, but in a very dark and twisted way. And so what he does is he, instead of he rapes babies that are going to go on to become serial killers. So he rapes them so they won't be serial killers. And so essentially he's the quote unquote hero of the story, doing these extremely heinous thing in order to this kind of, I don't know, keep people alive. It's so weird. But here's like, people were freaking out. They're like, oh, he's like, you know, doing this, some people call it like CP even, you know, they called it like CP and whatever. And it's like, okay, I don't think that's going to be the case, but
yeah.
What you've got here. So it starts off with him like kind of doing this opening monologue about like, you know, he's like a therapist or something. And he gave sleeping pills to his patient. And then he's like, you know, he's like, thanks for taking the sleeping pills. While you're sleeping, you won't know what I'm doing. And he sneaks in and he rapes this baby. And it's, again, not funny. But then as he's in the process of doing it, the dad comes out and, oh no, it's like he sees it. Oh no, sorry, he does it. Then he feels bad about doing it. So he goes and sees a therapist about it. And that therapist is the dad of the baby he just raped. And then that therapist tries to kill him. The baby son sees it happen. Then the dad freaks out, goes to another therapist. And that therapist says, well, your son watched you try to kill somebody. So then your son's going to become a serial killer. So the only way for you to prevent this from happening is that this other guy's got to go rape your baby. And then that therapist is like, okay, and goes to Daryl and tells Daryl, I need you to do this to prevent my son from killing other people when he gets older. And it's like, it's such an absurd concept.
It is.
It's an absurd concept. And I'm watching it and I'm like, this is like, wow, okay. This is pretty crazy. And it's just like, yeah. And like, you can see like, for one, like how he was, you know, why he was doing it, how absurd it was, and like who the intended audience was for.
Yeah.
And that's why I did the video talking about Channel 101 and what it is, because in all the coverage I've seen of it, they fail to mention where it originated. They fail to mention its context. And so it's kind of like, so they're creating this like this narrative that this is like something that Dan Harmon just did on a weekend, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted to go make a short film about raping babies. So that's where I am right now. That's where my life takes me down this particular pathway, you know? And so like someone said like the video constitutes as child pornography because it's simulating the act of having sex with a child, which I'm like, I think because, you know, you don't ever really see it.
Yeah.
He just like lays on top of a baby doll. And so it's like, at one point though, this was bad. Like, it's when he's doing it the second time, like at the father's request, and the father's in the room watching. he gets on top of the baby and then like takes the doll head and turns it and makes it look at the dad. And I just went like, oh God, why? Like, why would you do that? And it was just, yeah, it's a terrible thing. The whole thing is lame, but it's just, this is the joke. And if you're not the intended audience, then that's okay.
Yes.
And obviously he felt bad enough as it was. Cause by the way, this wasn't the first time this ever came up.
Yeah.
Actually, believe it or not, originally in 2012, Variety did a write-up about Dan Harmon, and that particular thing popped up. And they asked, oh, why has it been taken down from the website? Because it was already taken down from Channel 101. And that had to do with like, well, I they were asking where Daryl was. So whoever leaked it out, somebody who had it, who was not fans of Dan Harmon, which from my understanding about Dan Harmon as a person makes sense, because from what I hear is not necessarily the greatest guy to be around. And it, I think someone leaked it out during this whole James Gunn thing as a way to cause damage, but it had the exact opposite effect. You heard about that, right? Dan Harmon's keeping his job.
Yeah, I heard something about it. I don't keep up with it too much, but yeah, I've heard some stuff about it.
Oh no, but this is a result of the James Gunn situation, right?
Oh.
So you got people like Mike Cernovich who are helping craft these who are trying to go out there and expose these people and get them fired, right?
Mm.
And so with James Gunn, he got him fired, but there was such a gigantic backlash against that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking, the petition right now has over 262,000 signatures for James Gunn to get his job back.
It's not going to happen, I don't think.
No, it might. Because no, Dan Harmon didn't lose his job for actually making a video that would show him, defiling a baby doll, right?
Yeah.
And it was made in the same time frame. It was made with the same intent to be edgy boy humor. And Cartoon Network, which is or Adult Swim, which is owned by Cartoon Network, right? Which is a platform aimed at children. Rick and Morty airs on that network, but in the evening. And then you've got Time Warner, which owns Cartoon Network, and AT&T just dropped the cool mint on Time Warner. I think it was like 80 billion or some shit like that. So if you're looking at this from this perspective of going up the chain of command to the top of who owns who, that could be a negative thing, but it didn't. Yeah. So they stood by their employee. And with the push for James Gunn to get his job back, I have a feeling, I don't know for certain, but I have a feeling that they're going to end up hiring him back.
They may. I think he was stupid and fired him in the first place. I mean, I really do. Especially like Red Eye said, at least let him finish the script first.
Yeah, I thought that was just one of the dumbest fucking things ever. It's like, we've got this guy we've got a goose here that's laying fucking golden eggs. Hey, oh, wow, here's a tweet from 8 years ago or 10 years ago. Oh, I don't like the look of that. Has he finished that script yet? No, all right, shut up. Wait for it. Has he finished? All right, he's finished the script right now. You're fired.
Yeah, and that's true. He actually did just turn in the script for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, like, so he did turn it.
I was listening to Collider yesterday and everything. So the thing is like I see that Magog's in the chat and he says like Disney doesn't fuck around. I get Disney doesn't fuck around, but this is going to eventually get out of their control. Where now the press, because you've got, and I did somewhat predict this, where you've got the fans are behind him. Yeah. The fellow cast of the movie is behind him. Other people have now gone to Disney, like Bobcat Goldthwait, who was Pan in Hercules, right? And Bobcat Goldthwait's like, look, I have said some seriously horrible shit, and you're going to want to take me out of Disney's Epcot Center or Disney World, because they have this new exhibit there about the villains of Disney. And he gave his voice, and he's like, James Woods has said some seriously bad shit.
Yeah.
You might as well pull James Woods too. And that's kind of where they're starting to kind of like come back and go like, I get it, but at the same time, like this is now going to start, hitting the situation. And with the Dan Harmon backfiring in regards to getting him fired, that could shift it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it could shift it though.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Let's use Disney's standards of, hey, we can throw you under the bus for shit you did in the Wayback Machine's like, let's travel back to the 1930s. Oh, look, let's see the way that Disney's portraying African Americans. Oh, that's a pretty subhuman looking fucking characterization of someone standing around a big cauldron cooking a white person. And
I've seen so many screenshots of that.
I've seen a letter from 1938 where a woman's applied for a job in the art department of Disney, and the thing says, "Dear such and such, here's the deal. We don't employ women to do that. That's men's work. You can go into this other department where you get to color shit in like a fucking 5-year-old, but you don't get to work in the art department with men. Don't be fucking stupid, woman. Get back in the kitchen." And it's on Disney Disney papers, 1938. It's just like, you want to start holding people to standards of today's standards, but for what they did years ago, it's like, Disney, you are fucked at this point.
But now you also got to say the people working for Disney now wasn't working for Disney then.
But now but James Gunn wasn't working for Disney then.
Yeah,
he wasn't working for Disney then.
Standard. Disney set the bar, mate.
Yeah,
but now you also got to look at this now. I'm just playing devil's advocate for a second. You got to play devil's advocate for a second. You also got to look at it this way. As a company, right? As a company, like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate. The culture that we live in right now, they know that they're going to be under attack constantly. Because I can't say shit. Nobody can say shit without somebody being under attack. They're just doing what they think is best. I'm not saying it is best. I'm saying, playing the devil's advocate, could you say you wouldn't do the same if it was your company?
Well,
I would actually. I would.
Yeah, you would say it easily, but you're not. You're not the company.
No, let me put it to you guys like this though, right? So I've worked, like I have been in positions where, you're managing a team of people and you have to back the employee. I firmly believe you have to back the employee. When you start caving to people over some sensibilities that it won't matter in a few days or at all in the grander concept of things, you give in to that kind of emotional terrorism. And that's what it is. It's emotional terrorism. I've been, one of the theaters I worked at, the one in LA, I got into it with a customer. This person was like, was like not listening and whatever, and was like just being a total cunt. And I'm all like, look, you need to leave. If you're not gonna do this, one thing, after a while, I'm like, you just got to go. And they're making a bigger scene and a bigger scene and a bigger scene and a bigger scene. And I'm like, just get out. And I got him out of there. My boss is like, well, you really can't do that. I'm all like, why? He's like, well, other people around they're going to see you get into a fight, and they're going to see that that's going to be negative. They're not going to come back. And I'm all like, no, Sean. His name was Sean. I said, no, Sean. You getting into an argument with a customer who demands their money back for their ticket, their money back for their concessions, and you just reach into the drawer and give them $40, which was way more than they came in here with. Yeah. And you do that in front of the crowd because they are all watching this happen. You show them that you have no control over your business, that you have no control over what goes on in your place of business.
Yeah.
And you show them that anyone can do anything they want here. And that is going to have a larger negative impact than giving them what they want. Giving them what they want solves their issue. But people who want to come here to see that we have a strong, secure environment that's going to back its employees and make sure that the rules are maintained and shit, then you got to do that. And at my old place, my old theater, we did that shit. I always backed my employees, right?
Yeah.
Now, if they fucked up, I would definitely make them respond to it. But if someone was accusing them of something or whatever, you always got to back them because these are people you fucking work with. Imagine the type of environment. If you immediately turned tailed and fired every single person for every single transgression, your employee would hate themselves. They would hate coming to work. They would never know if they were going to screw up and be gone next.
Yeah.
You don't instill respect. You don't, bring in honesty or loyalty, and people are afraid to make any fucking mistake. And so they end up hiding it, or they end up, just causing more problems down on the back end or down the road. And I'm like, you should always take an employee stance first. But we don't live. I get what you're saying. In terms of where we're at.
I'm just saying. I was playing devil's advocate is what I was doing. But yes, I'm just saying in this day and age, PC culture, man, you could get you. It's rough.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we live in a culture where people are so used to never being denied and always being told yes, so that when someone actually tells them no, they fucking spurg out, basically.
It's the instant gratification society we live in.
Yes,
yeah, well,
exactly.
Let's have a quick look at. We'll go back and have a look at Disney's history again. Now, if I get them, I might get the movie's name wrong. It was called Song of the South.
Yes.
Right, that fucking thing. Disney have eradicated it from history. Try and find a copy of that online and download to watch it right now. The only place you're going to find it's probably on the dark web.
I have it.
Snuff movies. Yeah, well, it's not the easiest.
Of course.
You can't walk into fucking Walmart and buy that movie. Is my point.
No, you can't.
Disney,
No, and I had to find it.
Removed it. They've snuffed it.
Yeah, I found it, like someone had like sent me a link to get it or some shit like that. It was like one of my friends I think had like brought over his hard drive and he had a copy of it or something. I just grabbed it. I'm all like, it's a movie you hold on to for just no other reason than just to go like, I have a copy of it.
Yeah, it's not something you sit down and watch and tell all your friends, hey, I'm watching this. Come on, come over.
I
like,
do.
hey.
I love it. It's my favorite movie.
But the point is, if Disney are doing what they're doing to these people for these, they've got to really just burn the entire film archive at this point from the 30s through to basically after World War II. Because some of the shit during World War II was pretty fucking sketchy, and the shit in the 30s was fucking ordinary by today's standards. And I'm using today's standards to judge them because that's what Disney's doing to other people. So therefore, they open the door and have allowed it. They've got to hold themselves to the same standard because you know what that is. Because I'm a specialist in double standards. You fucking know that.
But they are kind of. But and I sound like I'm defending him, and I'm not in any way.
Oh, I understand you're not. Devil's advocate. You're good.
Yeah. I don't want anyone to think I'm actually defending the decision because I don't. I've already publicly spoke out against it. It's just that, like, in some ways, I can see a company being too scared of, and it's sad that it's that way. It's sad that people have to be scared of what's going to happen just simply because they stand by their employee and stuff like that. It's very scary, but man, this attack culture, and they don't just get offended. They come after you and they try to destroy you. And it's really rough, man.
Apparently the right does that too now.
Whoa!
Everyone does. It's
yeah.
It's outrage
culture for years, though, man. They go back to the 70s.
Yeah, but a lot more these days. It's getting increasingly common for the right because people on the right think that they're immune from using SJW tactics because they're not lefties, but that just makes them act more like them.
Well, SJWs doesn't mean left, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, SJW is trying to make it that way, but hopefully we'll move away from that.
SJW, I mean, we do deem this like the, a lot of people want to make SJW seem like it's just a leftist thing. It's social justice warrior, and it can be either side.
Yeah, sure, there are feminists on the right too. You do know that. But look, Disney's going to damage themselves because look, Dave Bautista came out on Twitter and did the full 240 characters, and the last sentence is, "I am not," and the word "not" was in caps. I'm not okay with what's been done to this man. Yeah. And I've seen another one of the stars of Guardians of the Galaxy. I forget his name. He came out. And he just went, "Everyone's getting." They've set the standard. Everyone better either delete their internet history or we all better just throw ourselves under the bus now.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I said today. I said, if I ever do get famous, I know it ain't gonna last long because all the shit that I said.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing: is it's if you get famous off that, people want it. People,
exactly.
Like the people that are getting all that are moral grandstanding that I've been talking with on Twitter. Like I asked one guy, he's going off for like fucking all last night. About like what jokes matter, and I'm like, who's your favorite comedian? I asked him who's your favorite comedian, and then nothing in response back from this guy.
Like, yeah, dude, that's the thing. They don't have
because it's like no. It's not that. It's a bit of a catch-22.
Yeah,
because it's all like, oh, who is your favorite comedian right now or ever, and then it's all like, oh shit.
Yeah, because they all said something.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, you're getting mad at this thing, but you've laughed at Holocaust jokes or 9/11 jokes. I mean, like 9/11 was a horrible experience, but if you ever want to shock somebody with some humor, show them 9/11 sped up and played the yakety sax.
Yeah.
That is terrible, but you won't. It is hard not to laugh at that.
Wow.
Because well, no, because that's true, right? And then it's funny because we have gallows humor is a good way of also people addressing certain situations, right?
Sure, that's part of humor.
So by the way, Mike
Totally
Cernovich comes out and goes after James Gunn for all these edgy jokes. Okay, but and I totally forgot about this when Logan Paul was laughing in front of that that not dead body in the forest.
Yeah.
Mike Cernovich tweeted out support of Logan Paul saying it's gallows humor. And people laugh at the stupidest shit. People.
I disagree. I disagree that it wasn't a dead body, but okay.
No, it was.
I know you're a whole video on that. Yeah.
No, no, it's straight. It was a fake body. It wasn't real. We'll go through. If you want to go through, we will go through this. I will change your mind.
I've heard your argument, and you did change it.
I don't understand how you didn't tell me how it's real.
How's it real? I don't know for a fact it was real or fake. I don't know. I just kind of lean toward that it may be real, but I don't know.
You want it to be real?
I don't give a shit, honestly, because I didn't get mad about it. I didn't get mad.
I'm not mad.
Those suicide forests, it's a real place. It's like now I don't know either. I'm not saying it was legit or not. I haven't tried to study the video to see if there's maggots crawling on any of the exposed flesh of the so-called corpse. That's not. I don't give a fuck one way or the other.
There was only like one shot that would have even given you that, and it wasn't. Really? Yeah, they do a close-up shot of his hands at one point, and they're like really freakishly like dark purple. Yeah. And I'm like, this doesn't really look right. And the rest of the time, the weirdest thing for me though is there's something that the guy had around his on the back of his neck that it looks, a lot of the shots, it looks like when they put the blur feature on, that it's just like looking past him and like there's like through the trees to like the sky or whatever. But then there's another shot where they're looking straight back into the forest and you still see it. It's this white thing that's right at the base of the neck that's like, I can't tell what it is. I don't know if it's a hood. I don't think it's a hood. I don't know what it is. And it keeps throwing me off because I'm like, for one, okay, just for one, have you ever gone and looked at a person who has hung themselves? They don't rigidly sit there. They slump. Their body is dead. There's no slumping. The person is standing. His knees are basically locked.
Maybe
I'm just saying, man. Right. The devil is in the details, and that Matt whole thing.
So passionate about this.
I am super passionate about this. I don't know why either. Like, I think for me, it's everyone took it at face value, and like no one. And I'm not saying anyone specifically, but it's like when I was watching all the coverage, it was all like this. He found a dead body. Like, bitch, this doesn't Stand By Me.
Yeah. Now the thing about Izzy, like I said, I didn't actually get mad at Logan Paul because what I was mad about was the hypocrisy of YouTube.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That does make sense, and that's why another reason why I think it's fake. I think he told them that it was fake. I think he was like, "Look, I made the whole thing up," and they're just like, but he can't come out and say that he did it. He can't come out and say that it was a fake job because that would destroy his career at this point.
I still think that would probably look less bad.
Because it would make it look like he manipulated everyone's emotions, right?
But don't most people already know that he does that?
No, not his fans.
Every one of us does, though. Every one of us does.
Fans are we do, but not to the extent of we might hype something up a little bit, get a little emotional when we talk, get up there, get all ready to go. And they get people hyped up and acting and whatnot. Like Logan Paul, though, he's like faked color blindness. He faked his death in front of his audience. Yeah. Where a masked dude with an assault shotgun came up behind him. He's a shithead. And they did all this stuff, and then no one ever the people they came real close. Like Philly D came real close to suggesting it when he covered it, but still never went that next step. And I think a lot of people out there really did question whether or not that it was real. But I think that they weren't sure. They weren't 100%. And so they didn't want to make that claim without having some kind of evidence. And since no one else involved spoke the fuck up, it's it shows you.
Speaking of Logan Paul, I hope he gets his ass whooped by that black dude.
Yeah, me too. I hope KSI beats his ass.
I hope KSI kicks these shit. Did you watch the press conference?
I did, man. I felt so bad for Logan Paul, and I hate that I feel that way.
I didn't feel bad. I thought it was funny as fuck. Fuck you,
I know it was
Paul.
funny as fuck. It was funny as fuck, but at the same time, you got this dude who's a fucking idiot, right? Like he has found himself in this position where he is a millionaire at a very young age.
Yeah,
and this is clearly a publicity stunt. He's gonna make so much fucking money off of this. I think the reason why he's doing this fight is just making up for the lost income off of what happened earlier this year, and I think like that's all it is. And so like it's meant to be maybe his like redemption tour, I guess. I don't know.
But he's gonna be humiliated though, because KSI is gonna kick the shit out of him.
I mean, KSI. The thing is though, KSI got in his fucking head, and it's already over. And I said that too, because I did do a video about that. And I'm all like, because I watched this and I'm all like, I don't like either of these people, but I was emotionally invested into this thing. Like I was emotionally invested and I felt bad for Logan Paul because like for one, they're bringing in his girlfriend, they did, and then like the crowd's chanting like she a hoe.
Yeah, they were saying she was a hoe.
Like, I mean, I understand like giving his brother shit because Jake Paul ain't any fucking better.
Yo, he came out. He's fighting too, right?
Yeah, he's fighting someone else. Yeah, I want Jake Paul to get his ass handed to him more than I want Logan Paul.
Yeah, Jake's worse.
Yeah, I really want to see that happen because Jake Paul's got a really punchable face.
Yeah,
just a super punchable face.
I think,
and since I know that I will never legally be allowed to punch him, I want to watch somebody else do it.
And I had somebody ask me one time, why does all the grown people not? Why do we get so disgusted by the Paul brothers? I think it's simply a lot of us are because we can see that these two kids have never been told no.
They're one of those.
They have never been, because they're the money makers in their family, right? Their mom and dad jump to every fucking goddamn need. They never been told no, so that's why they think they can get by with anything, and that's why they do this stupid shit they do, because people let them buy with it because they're like you said, they're very young millionaires, and they've never been told no, and so they think they can do whatever the fuck they want. And people like me, who is fucking clawed, scratched, bled, and cried for anything I've got, yeah, I do get a little disgusted with the fuckers.
Yeah, to see someone be so successful for overall doing so little is kind of sad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, okay, I feel like I should probably defend them in that regard.
No,
a little bit. I
said
because
overall. I'm not saying that they do nothing.
Don't backpedal. Matt's wrong. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's like, look, we all understand the game. I mean, it's like he puts out content, and people watch it. It may not be good content. I mean,
I don't care. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, because he came over from like. Let's be fair though. The Vine invasion of YouTube is a cancer, and should have never happened. I blame Twitter for this.
Vine
for
is
killing
real
Vine.
content.
Yeah.
Oh God. I will say though, I did see a couple Vines that were they got more creative as time went on because people were shooting. Like I saw one where they're like some guys went to the catacombs in Paris.
Oh, some of that shit was pretty good. Yeah.
And they were fucking around in there. Like I would just use it for like shit posting, And,
it isn't the fact that he's popular. I don't give a shit. He's popular. Actually, I'm okay with him. Is their success? I'm okay with. It's that when they do the shit like the Suicide Forest or whatever, the shit you were talking about a minute ago, the reason they do that kind of shit is because they know there's not really any repercussions over it, because they get by with everything. And that's what I believe it annoys the common person like myself. It isn't the fact that they're popular. It's the fact that they get by with so much shit when we can't, simply because they're,
I was reading this thing last night, or I saw the headline. I haven't read the article yet, but it was, I guess YouTube they're worried a bit about IGTV, and IGTV. So what they're doing is they're cutting some pretty large checks to some YouTube content creators to keep them on YouTube, and it's all like, no, fuck you. You know what? Like I put out content, it gets some views and shit. My revenue got dropped in half last year, right? Dropped in fucking half. last year, and it's like I still pull in people. I get them over 1 million views a month, which you know, in my
good.
I do okay and shit, but it's like, fuck that shit. You fucking sit there, you chuckle fucks. You want to bring in, like, I'm not against them bringing in local news for situations like involving tragedies. Like, I feel like on the ground reporting is good to have that being a base. I'm not against that at all. But it's like, if you want there to be stronger news coverage on YouTube that's done in a way that's trustworthy, then look at people who are already running news and go to them and work with them to build up and make sure they're build trusted news brands on your own goddamn platform.
Yeah, the independent news guy's in trouble now.
Wait, hold on. Gage asks me why I was an asshole on the side quest. I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you killed Magog a lot.
How? I wasn't watching last night. I was asleep.
Huh.
No, I slept. I fell asleep at 7 p.m. Pacific until 1 a.m. Pacific last night. So I wasn't watching anything. I was asleep the whole time. So
yeah, Magog was just.
Did somebody like impersonate me on YouTube? This is why you look for the check mark. This is why I need to be verified on every fucking platform.
Yeah,
that is my
people try and impersonate Matt all the time. It's fucking ridiculous, and people believe it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that quite a bit during the internet bloodsport shit. People were like going, like, someone created a couple dummy accounts of me and went into like other rooms, started saying like stupid shit that I would never say, and then people would screenshot that and like come at me on Twitter about it, and I'm all like, do you see a blue check mark, or do you see the check mark? Then that ain't me. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'm all like, goddamn right you are.
Did you know today was National Tequila Day?
No,
I'm gonna have a shot of Patron after this then. Patron Silver, because I like the top shelf shit.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm not a big tequila guy, to believe it or not. Though I'm a bourbon guy. So every day's National Bourbon Day. Anyways, so we'll go ahead and start taking some questions from the chat. So if you got any questions for Mundane, Matt, or Red Eye, Animats, or myself, please ask your questions. Also, you can start tipping now. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna end at 11:30 today, or 30 minutes early today, because so we might as well go ahead and start taking questions. Tipping also. Does your doppelganger support ad block?
I don't believe so. I know I do believe. Probably they do.
Yeah, probably. You support ad block?
Who, me?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why the question was even asked.
Oh, do you not know that meme?
I don't know the meme.
Yeah, Matt says.
Hold on, bitch. It's my story.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain the meme from the dude who started them, or who accidentally created the meme.
All right.
So I was doing this channel trailer, like back in 2014. And I was trying to think of, like, I was trying to be over the top, trying to be funny about it, and so I'm all like, at the end of the thing, I was like, and don't forget to turn off that pesky ad block, Okay. And I just said it like that. I said it like that, and I put it out there, and man, fucking people ran with that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. They ran with that. Like, I mean, I'm not even going to lie. It was funny.
Made a big thing about it.
It was pretty goddamn fucking funny. And I was very much chuckling heavily at that. And a lot of people, like, it's been going on for years. Like, people were using it against me forever, and then I just kind of owned it. And then I guess now it's like I've taken it back, and so I need to put that on a t-shirt.
The $3 theater meme is better, Matt.
The $3 theater meme is amazing. It's amazing. I need to get that on an actual shirt. So I do a movie news channel called $3 Theater, and somebody did some fan art for it one day, and they ripped off Mystery Science Theater 3000. So it's like like the seats in the theater, and then, like, instead of the robots, it was $3, like elk.
Yeah.
Right. And they're watching a movie, and it was the scene from fucking Wicker Man when they put the bees. And I'm like, that is so goddamn funny. That is, like, so goddamn like, I love it. I fucking love it. It cracked me up to no end when I first saw it.
What's your opinion on the reboot of Invader Zim?
I never watched the first Invader Zim, so I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, a lot of people are really fucking hyped about it, so I hope it makes them happy and not disappointed. That's all I'll say.
I mean, if is Joe and Vasquez involved in it?
I'm not sure. I really don't know the details of the movie at all. I haven't really looked into it that much, but it got announced at the last comic. Well, not announced, but gave details at the last Comic Con.
Wow, he looks like an edgier version of like Chris Ray Gun.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm looking at a photo of him right now, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay.
They're about the same height, honestly.
Yeah, no, I met him. I met him one time. I was at this it's a place in Burbank called Dark Delicacies, right?
Mhm.
And it's not a sex shop.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised too. And so I go there for a signing for this web series. This is in 2010, by the way. Web series were all the rage.
Yeah.
And fucking Joe and Vasquez was there, and I had no idea. And I met him, and I'm like, oh wow, like I didn't know that it was him. And like I'm like, because I love Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, so I remember going to Bible camp, and first discovering Johnny the Homicidal Maniac when my friend produced it on the bus ride to the camp.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, we're going to Bible camp. Want to read this comic book my mom got me from California?
So what do
Yeah.
you think? What do you think about the new Buffy being black?
Dumb.
Dumb.
I'm not. I don't. Like, if they want to, like, if
You're
if they
racist. Okay.
I'm not racist. It's so stupid to race bend the main character of a franchise. That's like a very like. Imagine if they came out and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, yo,
Lando's
hey, yo."
white.
No, not Lando being white. It'd be like, yo, Luke Skywalker is Filipino, right? Like people would lose their shit. They would lose their damn shit at that. You know,
I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna reboot. I'm gonna reboot Blade, and he's gonna be a white guy.
actually, Wesley Snipes did talk about the attempt to whitewash Blade.
Wow.
The thing is, this is another thing too. Why is it that like every progressive movie journalist forgot that Blade existed
Yeah.
this year? Like,
Oh,
this-
I know about when Black Panther came out.
I wonder
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, like Black Panther was a good movie. I really liked it, but
It was
Blade
an
is
awesome movie.
Blade was the shit for 20 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly. I agree. I mean, they acting like this was the first big. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Now, the Black Panther was a good movie. I agree. It was a very good movie. But Blade was the shit. Blade was cool.
Yeah, Blade 1 and Blade 2 were great. Blade 3,
Somebody
but
said, Mexican wash Blade. Have a Chicano Blade.
just I see that I'm not against. I'm like, okay, if they were to take Buffy and like make this character, I think they're even like season 2 of the show. There was a black hunter named Kendra, from what someone said to me on Twitter, and it's like, okay, well, if you've already got that one time, why not just tell her story? You know, like, but they're what it is they're going like, oh, we want to rely on, you know, this whole thing. It's like the Latino version. It's like the Latino remake of Charmed, right?
Yeah.
That's going on right now. That show's going to crash and burn. It's going to crash and burn because fans from the original show are going to be like, I don't care about this. But on the other side, I could be wrong. When it comes to the largest demographic out there in terms of movies and at least for movies right now, is Hispanics. They make up I think they're the number one demographic for people going to the movies.
Yeah, there's
And
a lot
so
of them.
That's kind of surprising, considering that that one, I don't know if it was Disney or DreamWorks, but that one movie kind of flopped that had like a whole like Mexican theme to it. You'd think that they would be going out there and showing solidarity for culturally, you know.
Are you talking Coco?
Yeah, Coco. Wasn't that like a financial, like not so good of a movie?
Let's see. Coco had a box office bring home of $807 million off of about a $200 million budget. And
Yeah. I heard from a lot of people that didn't perform as well financially as people were expecting, which is kind of strange to me.
Well,
I haven't
up,
seen it yet, so
I'm gonna blow everybody's mind here because this is
Oh,
what
sure.
I want to do. I want to reboot this sitcom Different Strokes, but in my reboot, the
Oh, God.
the dad's gonna be black and the kids are gonna be white. Boom!
Oh shit!
that could be something.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Actually, a pretty good idea.
I'm gonna do it.
Pimpmunk's gonna make it happen. I can tell. He's got the face of determination.
Yes, it's gonna be called. I don't know what. Different Strokes.
See, if I was gonna remake Different Strokes, I would just have it be about a guy who every week gets a hand job from a different hooker.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
It's like Cinderella, but for hand jobs.
That's pretty good, actually. I like that one too.
You know, I gotta go try this. He goes to the ball and he gets the hand job, the perfect hand job. So then
Oh my
he
God.
spends each week trying to find the hand job.
That's fucking ridiculous.
We're gonna.
Ridiculous thing I've ever heard you say, and I've heard quite a few things about you.
What's that, Red Eye?
What about rebooting the fucking Dukes of Hazzard? Except they're two fucking Moorish American citizens / all sovereign citizens. Take your pick, either. And they are traveling in their vessel, trying to evade those fucking pesky road pirates by jumping over broken bridges and smuggling weed from Mexico, from one of their favorite cartels. I don't know. Just flip it right on their head. Instead of white guys running booze and shit around the fucking county, they're just black guys smuggling drugs and evading road pirates in their fucking vessel.
That's pretty good, but I got a better one for Dukes of Hazzard. Dukes of Amish County, and it's Amish guys in a wagon doing all the stunts.
Wow.
I have a better idea. So if the General Lee offended the liberals, then we have to reboot it to offend the conservatives. So what it is,
Malcolm X.
Instead of being Dukes of Hazzard, it's Dukes of Hezbollah. Really, it's the Charger gets sent over to somehow gets sent over to the Middle East, and ISIS puts an ISIS flag on top. And the whole time is them fighting the infidels in order to restore providence to the region.
Instead of the horn going, imagine the horn. It'll be like the prayer going. Instead of it just have some fucking old guy fucking screaming. Allah Akbar.
Allah Akbar. Buddy, get to the car.
That's funny.
Oh man, because there was that Tom's pool service truck, that Toyota ended up like being fucking ISIS vehicle, right? Like it came from somehow a Toyota from Texas made its way to the Middle East and ended up being used as a patrol truck. For ISIS.
Wait, Osama bin Laden is Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, there you
go. He wasn't killed. He's just in hiding.
We're rocking this shit, and we'll have Jihad John, the guy that was fond of cutting people's heads off. He can just be one of the fucking Duke. He can be. No, he's one of the Duke brothers.
Who's gonna be Boss Hog? Donald Trump.
Take your pick. Trump. Any of the American dictators that have been trying to repress the Middle East with their stuff like guns and bullets and bombs and
Daisy Duke with. Daisy Duke, her six is gonna be her ankle showing.
In the name of Allah, hide your modesty, woman.
That's terrible. I think we have a hit on our hands.
Yeah, we have a winner. Ding ding ding.
Actually, there's some actor in America. He worked on one of those police shows, and he did a remake of the General Lee, except he's a black guy, and he did it with all weed fucking sort of themed. It was fucking awesome. Had a big weed.
Hypothesis says the title. How about we call it the Nukes of Hazzard?
There you go.
Bravo. Sign him up. He's on the writing team. You're on the writing team.
That's a creative mind right there. Yeah.
I reckon instead of having a number on the side, it just has a picture of, I don't know, either a pig or bacon just with the crossed out symbol in it, like Ghostbusters. So no bacon, no pork. Or you could put a Jewish person in there. No. Take your pick. Just the more offensive, the better. Why not a Jewish person holding a pig? That'd really fucking upset everybody at that point.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing is you have to replace the main Duke boys every week, though, because of the suicidal bombings.
Mate, yeah. Each week they have to go. Well, you know, they've got big extended families over there, so we'll be good for cast members. Oh, shit. Oh, hey, James, move over. I'm coming to sit with you in Oblivion real soon. Got a spare seat. Keep one warm. Order me a beer, mate. Oh, shit.
The Dukes of Hazzard. I can't believe I liked this shit when I was a kid. When I got older, I was like, why did I like this so much? Because it kind of
I still love that show. Because cars jump over fucking bridges and shit. And the
acting was so bad.
I think everyone has a show like that.
I like Dukes of Hazzards.
I don't know. I did when I was a kid. I had the racetrack.
I know.
All those,
2 words. Daisy Duke. That's why you fucking like the show. Boom.
Oh, yeah. I rubbed the skin right off my little weenie whacker thinking about her. Still do to this day. Also, that was a huge. We need an A-Team show like that, too. Because A-Team was the shit, dude. We need to. Yeah. I hated the reboots of A-Team. The movie sucked.
What? The movie was great.
The movies were horrible.
The movie was awesome. The movie, if you look at that as if you look at that movie and compare it to other action films, it had so many more action sequences than like everything. It was good. You are wrong.
You're wrong.
No, and the original A-Team theme, whenever I have a good day and something goes right, I actually go and listen to that goddamn fucking song because, damn it, that's what it's all about. When something goes right.
The original A-Team was awesome. I just didn't really care for that.
And the actor that played Murdoch, I'll put this forward as one of the most talented motherfuckers on there because he was playing a different goddamn role every 5 minutes, basically, on that show. Or every week, he'd just be a new character. He'd just they'd bail him out of the thing and then BA go, hey, getting on real clean, sucker. And then someone would put something in his milk and he'd go, what? And fall asleep and then wake up and shoot an AK-47. And where the fuck did they get those guns? Why was the A-Team using Kalashnikovs? Weren't they about freedom and patriotism in America? Huh? Someone answer me. Come on.
You still got to get your guns where you can.
Yeah.
Nice, buddy. Yeah. Hey, those Kalashnikovs with the cutoffs, fucking handles are pretty sweet though.
I agree. We should do
that. Didn't Mercedes build shit for the Nazis, and yet their cars are still really well made, right? So calm your tits.
Shit. No, shit.
Did you just say the accent? He said Rampage was good as Mr. T. What? It wasn't Mr. T.
I thought Charlotte Copley was pretty good as Murdoch. Though.
He was good as Mr. T.
As Mr. T.
It's just a brain fart. It's a good one though.
Yeah.
You know the character Mr. T, everyone's favorite character.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yep.
I think we should do. Somebody said we should name it the Gay Team and have an all gay cast. So that would be good.
Man, that could actually have some comedic potential.
Wait a minute, they already had that though. Straight eye, queer eye for the straight guy. There you go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, basically, you're right. That's a frightening analogy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now that I think about it.
That's terrifying because it's so accurate. It's like I now fear for my species more than ever before. Thanks, boss.
You're welcome.
Oh, great. We're all fucked. Hug your children closely. We're all going to hell now.
The dude just said about I'm high. That's the excuse for he's the one that said Mr. T thing. That's okay.
Good for me.
Red Eye's high too.
Hey.
Yeah, of course I am.
Of course I am. So yeah, we got a few more minutes. If you guys got any questions, please ask. It's been fun, by the way. Thank y'all for joining us. Good show today.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Very informative.
Absolutely.
Technically, he was a character, not his real name. Now he's trying to explain it. We get it. Yeah, do what Gage says. Was one of my favorite actors. I was watching, but now okay. Hugo Boss needs to make more uniforms. Those were dope. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
You know Hulk Hogan's racist because of my last comment. Okay.
God, I remember watching a movie with George Papard where he played a German test pilot. It was he was very young in that movie. It was a really good movie, actually.
Mm.
Quite tragic about how he was basically banging a German officer's wife, and right at the end of the movie, they were going to frag him for it. So they've one of the other test pilots has sent him up in an unsafe plane, and you don't see it, but you hear the plane doing all the aerobatics, and then you hear snap, and then you see the woman start crying, and that was the end of the tragic German movie. It's like, that was dark as fuck. God, I like German movies.
I was gonna say something, I forgot. God damn it, Red Eye, you son of a bitch.
It's all Red Eye's fault.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. By the way, make sure you check out tomorrow's show. I gotta let Vadim know that we are doing a show tomorrow. I got my doctor's appointment mixed up. It's Thursday. Thursday there will not be a show, but there will be a show tomorrow. So
I'll remind Vadim because
are you on? Are you on Monday through Friday or what? What day are you doing?
Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
See, that's what I want to start doing. Is like I want to get back doing like the daily streams and shit.
Yeah.
Fucking finding the right goddamn time, man.
Yeah, I want you to get back to those too, Matt.
Yeah, I know. They're fun. They are a lot of fun. It's like it's fun to shoot the shit with people for a while.
Luckily luckily VidCon did me well, and I got a lot of guests booked because of VidCon. And
so there's make a lot of contacts, man.
Yeah, since I've been back from VidCon, we've pretty much been loaded on guests.
Yeah, we've been having a really good run. It's like since Pat was on, basically, we've just been having a really good fucking bunch of shows. With everyone that's been on's been fucking a hoot to talk to.
Yeah,
and I've been learning. I've discovered some new YouTubers to watch with some great content. So it's fucking win.
Vadim can just talk, man. So
you just have to shut him up. You have to shut him the fuck up.
Yeah, that's the problem with Vadim. Yeah, I've had him on.
I mean, he's a cool guy and all, but I have to tell him, hey, you need to shut the fuck up.
You know what we should do? Get CC on one day. Just get CC on the show. That'd be fucking good fun. Because CC's, I do enjoy watching CC. It's the one with Alex Jones' missus. How was that? The video he did with Alex Jones's ex-missus, that was fucking incredible.
Yeah, that was a really interesting video. I was surprised we got in contact with her.
How the fuck did he pull that off? It's just like, I'm watching this video, it's like, I'm going to talk to Alex Jones's missus. It's like, what? He's talking to Alex Jones's ex, and she is just basically pouring petrol on the motherfucker and just going,
yeah, she hates him.
Whooshka.
Yeah. Well, he hit me up afterward, and he was all asking me if I wanted to interview her too.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, yeah. The thing is, though, it's like the thing I don't like about these multiple interviews is it's just the same questions over and over and over again.
It becomes repetitive, yeah.
Like I don't want to ask those questions. I want to ask like early days of InfoWars questions. I want to ask like, you know, what was that one he did? The Bohemian Grove one.
Oh God.
No, do you ever watch that? Do you ever watch that?
Yes,
documentary.
I've seen that before.
I certainly have, mate. Many years ago, before the internet and stuff in Australia, a lot of my friends were into this shit, and we got the videos and stuff and all of the paperwork and shit, and we're all right into it. And then one day, I've just realised this is just like the what was the ceremony? The cremation of care, and it's like, this is just a big boys club for fucking politicians to get the fuck away from their nagging wives for a few days to get on it with all their old friends, because you just see it's an old boys club.
Yeah, it's really what it is. I just found it like before I knew how crazy Alex Jones really is. I saw that documentary and I'm all like, that was pretty good. That was pretty decent. And then I drove by that. I was actually driving up the 101 in Northern California on a bachelor party trip, and I talked to the bachelor, and I'm all like, "Hey man, how would you like to make a quick detour?" I'm like, "You want to go check out you want to step outside the Bohemian Grove?" And he's all like, "Is there beers or titties?" And I'm all like, "No." And he's like, "Then no." I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But then one of his buddies from San Francisco, who we went up there to go meet, I asked him about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my boss goes there." And I'm like, "Really?" This is in 2009 too, so like, you know. I was like, really? Like, what goes on there? And he's all like, nothing. They hang out and they drink. I'm all like, yeah, that's probably what happens. God damn.
Yeah. That's what most of these secret societies are.
Yeah, but we're about to go. It's time to go. The thing I want to do, I think the channel was supposed to be back today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
It's so, it wasn't back this morning, so it could be back later today or tomorrow.
A couple days.
Yeah. So if it does come back at some point today, the show will be on the main channel tomorrow. So we'll see.
Sweet.
Yeah, and yeah. So, anyways, like I said, we're ending a little early today because I need to do some things. So, thank you, Matt, very much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
It was fun. You too, Animancer.
Anytime, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
of course,
guys.
Red Eye.
Thank you,
And
sir.
yeah, so thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow.